So the first step, once they decide that they're going to go after a particular technology space, like agentic AI, generative AI, everything we talked about earlier, cloud computing for sure, they commission and publicize bias surveys and inflate potential demand, creating the illusion of widespread necessity. And we've seen this huge amounts over the last 2 or 3 years, certainly the rise of generative AI. These surveys, every week there'll be a survey that pops up that talks about how enterprises are adopting generative AI at a massive scale and agentic AI at a massive scale. All this stuff, which really kind of gets people to think that there's a big technology party going on and they weren't invited. And they have a tendency to be biased because they're not produced by independent or objective third parties. Are produced by consultants that are obviously going to benefit from the rise of this technology trend, certainly if they're investing in building a practice and a discipline around it, which is perfectly fine. I get a little impatient when these things become a little too biased and a little too leading one way or the other. You can kind of tell it was, pay to play kind of scenario with some of these analyst firms out there and some of these survey organizations that really kind of come up with the answers that these consulting firms or even the technology firms are seeking. And therefore, they're a bit misleading. But in many cases, if it seems way off, not only not use it, but in many cases, when I do use some of the material, I'll call out and I said, by the way, these aren't an objective third party. These guys are going to make a lot of money if this technology, takes off. So consider that, in the results of it. And that's what you need to do, because I think you have to look at what is the motivation of this organization in producing these particular survey results, certainly if they're very positive around the adoption of a particular kind of technology that they're promoting. And when I'm working with them, I just say, remind them, because I wasn't there. I don't know if the survey was truly biased or not, but you kind of have to consider the source in terms of them coming to conclusions that you're aligning behind, because those conclusions may not in turn be accurate. And so it's buyer beware with that kind of stuff. And so you have to figure out how to sift through it and figure out what's accurate and what's not.